So some days before, I was having a Slack Huddle call with some of my colleagues at work, and I found that my Slack UI was not updating whenever somebody new was joining that call. I thought that maybe there is some issue from my internet, that is why I was not able to see that UI reloading properly. But later I realized that the issue was from Slack's end itself, and this whole chain of events made me intrigued about how Slack team would have made the Slack Huddle feature. So hey guys, my name is Mayank, developer advocate at HMS, and today in this video we will be building Slack Huddle like feature in iOS application. And we will be doing it in a step-by-step procedure. In this particular part of the video, we will be knowing how to build an application where you can do the audio conferencing just like Slack Huddle. And in the consecutive parts, you will be seeing all the other Slack Huddle features that are included over there, and we will be building them one by one. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so without any further ado, let's see what all we have made in this particular application, and let me tell you how we have made the UI as well as how we have integrated the HMS SDK to make our Slack Huddle feature work. So we will go step by step into it. So to do that, let me show you first how the app looks like. So let's run the project and see how it looks like here in our simulator. You can see we have certain list of contacts that you can connect with and you can chat to. So I have made a very basic UI. You have the workspace logo, you have create new message button, you have the workspace name, you have a list of contacts. If I go to Kritika, then you would be able to see, okay, I can write a message, I can send that message, I can do the main thing of this video, which is starting a Slack Huddle, right? So if I click on this particular button, the Slack Huddle actually starts. So first, let's see how we have made this basic UI. So to start with, we have made certain views. We have a contact list view, Slack chat view, contact list cell. And let's start with the cell first, because you can see on the screen we have certain cells for each user we have listed. So in this cell you would find we have only used two things, one image and other one is the text, which is used for the name of that certain user. And we have given certain frame to it. You can easily relate to it. The main focus of this video will remain only on our main functionality, which is making the Slack Huddle possible. All right. So the next thing is, what are we going to do with this contact list cell? Now we are going to use this contact list cell on our parent view for the very first page, which is called contact list view. And inside contact list view, we have made an array of contacts using a certain model that we have created. And in the main body, we have used the navigation view, and inside the navigation view, we have created a list. And in that list, we have used all of our contacts to populate them one by one. Okay. Now, whenever we click on a certain contact, there is one navigation link that works and it takes you to the destination, which is Slack chat view in this case. So if I click on suppose Arpit, you would be able to see that this one is a Slack chat view. You can chat over here and also connect through a Slack Huddle. So if I go back, you would be able to see that we have noted contact list cell here, and we are passing the data of contact to each cell as we move forward and iterate through this list. Okay. In the navigation, you can clearly see we have a certain title 100ms. You can see here, and in the leading side, we have a logo, and in the trailing side we have a create new button. So which is a pencil. I have used a SF symbol in that, which is like very simple to use. So we have given again certain dimensions, or you can say frame, to these logos and the title that we have written. And yeah, we are good with this screen. Like, this is very basic, right? You can just do it in almost 10-15 minutes. So this is that quick. Now you can see that here that we have also used a user model. So let's go to our model that we have created. It's here, user model. It only has a ID, image and name. Since we need all these three things only, we have not connected this application to a certain database, because the main objective is not to chat over the application, but to show you how the Slack Huddle feature works. In the progressive videos, we can also move into those things where we can actually integrate this application with a backend, maybe Firebase or some other, and we can actually make all those things also possible. That depends on you. If you guys want, you can comment down below, and I'll definitely consider those comments if I really get a lot of them. Okay. Now you can see that the main view that opens up if we go to a certain user, which is Slack chat view. So inside Slack chat view, we are doing the main stuff, right? We are actually making the chat possible, as well as the core focus, which is Slack Huddle. We are able to do that. And to do that, we have actually imported, or you can say added, a package named HMS SDK, which is simply 100ms SDK. And to add that SDK, you need to go to File just above in your Xcode, and you need to go to Add Packages. And when you will go to Add Packages, you would be able to see, if you search here, you would just write 100ms, and if you search for it, it might has some issue currently, but I'll leave the link of our GitHub repo down below, so that once you write that particular URL here, you would be able to see that right away. And currently you can see that I have already searched it before, so in the options it show it to me, and that is the URL of our GitHub repo. So you can directly integrate, or you can say add this package to your Xcode project, and please select the main branch and just add this package to your project. So it is the button is currently unable for me, like disable for me, because I have already added this package in the Xcode project. But yeah, you need to make sure that you have added it. Now once you have added this package, you have to use it to make the functionality work. Now how does all that work? Let me show you that, but before that, let's understand how we are actually making things work. Like whenever you start an audio room like the Slack Huddle, there are multiple users, or maybe there are two users who are talking to each other. So they have certain permissions. They can mute themselves, they can speak, they can share screen, they can see who is speaking, because you can see that whoever is the active user, their UI looks a little different. Like you show some color to it, or maybe you draw some border to it, so that it looks like, okay, this particular person is speaking. So in this particular part, as I told before, we will only be focusing on how to make that conversation possible between the two users. Okay, and to make that work, let's go to the 100ms website, and there we will create an account and we will take the steps forward. Okay, so let's do that. Here we are at the 100ms.live website, and here you need to just log in through any of your account if you already have one. Otherwise you need to create one. So that's simple and it's free. So just log into your account. I have already logged into my account, and you can see my dashboard right here. And in this dashboard, you can see that I already have two templates that I created before. One is the video conferencing one, and the other one is audio room. So in this particular example for the Slack Huddle, we would be using a audio room template. And feel free to create yours, because you can just go right here if you already have an account, add a new app, and then you can name your app whatever you want. So suppose I name it say Slack Huddle. Okay, so yeah, I just named it this, and next. And now you have the option to select any of your template. So since we are making a Slack Huddle, so I have taken audio room. Otherwise you can also create your own template, so that has its own like customization that you can make. To make it simple, I have taken the audio room one. Okay, but let me show you what all is possible inside this audio room template. So if I go back to the dashboard, and inside the template, you would see I have this audio room template, and under the roles section in the audio room template, you would be seeing that there are three roles by default: listener, moderator, and speaker. So generally what happens is if you are talking over Slack Huddle, all of the people who have joined a call are basically speaker, right? But if you drive the example or tweak the example into something else, maybe if you go towards Twitter Spaces, then you can see that we have a speaker, we have moderators, and we have listeners too. So that's why we already have certain roles defined. You can make a new role as well if you want to, and set that role's permission as well. So here you can see that for a speaker, we have these many parameters that we can play with. So the speaker can share audio. If you want, you can also make the user to share his or her video. can share a screen. Yes, that would be required if you will be going for that functionality, because in Slack Huddle you can actually share your screen. And same like the same, you have mute feature. You can mute any participant, can ask participant to unmute. So all of those things are available inside the speaker. If you go for the moderator, you would find that there are a little difference. There is a little difference in between the speaker and moderator permissions. You can see that we don't have screen share functionality enabled for it, but if you want, you can do that. So that's the beauty of this particular template, that you can make the customization on the fly and as per your requirements. For the listeners, obviously, as the name says, listener is only able to listen to others, so the listener is not allowed to share the audio. Again, I'm saying that if you want, you can enable all of those things for listeners too. So that's completely depends on your case requirement. All right, but yes, in this example we will be using this audio room template. All right, the other important thing on this particular dashboard is the rooms that we have. So when I created my template, the audio room, I already created this room. Like, this particular room got created with that template, and that room has an ID, and you can see that room template name is Slack create own something something. So I will be using this particular room to enable all the other participants to join that. Okay, so this particular room ID is very important to me, because when I create a room or I start the Slack Huddle, I would be needing that room ID in my code to make that work. All right, the other important thing on this dashboard is, if you go to the developer tab, you would find that you have certain keys. Okay, and in all those keys, like we have app access key, app C, create customer ID, and whatnot, the most important is token endpoint, which will be required. I'll tell you how and where. So it will be required inside the application so make sure that you have copied it so that you can use it in your code when we make the functionality work. Now that's all about the things that we can do in this particular case example. You can check out the other features as well, but yeah, in this particular video we will only be focusing on the audio room template. So let's go back to our Xcode project and continue the code. Alright, so now we are back to our Xcode project, and let's see what all steps do we need to do next with the HMS SDK so that we can enable our Slack Huddle functionality. So you would find here that we have imported first of all the HMS SDK, and also we will be using the microphone in this particular example. So make sure that you go to your app, and inside your info.plist you enable the permissions for the microphone as we have done here. You just have to add this particular point inside the info.plist so that whenever you are going to join a particular Slack Huddle room, your application asks you if you want to allow your microphone to work or not. So that's an important step. If you will not do that, you will not be able to see what all things we are explaining here. All right, the next thing is to go back to the Slack chat view, which is moreover our very main view. This particular view, like this one, is Slack chat view, and inside this we have this headphone button. So you can see that we have majorly two parts of the UI which we have used. So the major body part is this, and inside which we have used the audio room options. So let's see what audio room options really does in the UI part. So we have a Z stack here, inside which we have the chat bottom bar. So chat bottom bar is basically nothing but the things that you can see at the bottom here. We have certain buttons, we have a text box as well where we can write and send the message. So that's basically it about the chat bottom bar. But what else, like what all things are there inside this particular view in terms of UI? So you can see that we have this beats.headphones button through which we will be enabling the Slack Huddle call, and it is again an SF symbol. I love SF symbols, so yeah, they are great to use, so you can use that. And inside this particular button that we have used, like it is not just an image, it's a button. You can see here in the trailing side of the navigation bar. So we have a certain action to it, and the action is opening a half sheet. So for that I have created a certain model that enables you to open a half sheet when you tap on that headphone button. So I'll not go into the details of this particular model or class. You can just have a look at it and get to know what it is all about. Let's go back and see how we are doing it. Okay, so whenever you tap on this headphone button, let's do that. There is one okay, you can see the permissions are there. So it is asking you if you would like to access the microphone. So if you want, you can say okay, and then you have the option like tap me or end room, so which is basically a dummy text. So I have given some actions to it, but yeah, tap me is really not relevant here, but end room is. So whenever I end the room, it actually ends the room. So I'll show you in a real example. Like this is currently running on a simulator, but I'll show you on my real device how is it really working. So if I go back here, you would see that yeah, we open the sheet view whenever we tap on the headphone button. And what happens after that is, if you go to the sheet view, you will be able to see that. So you can see in the sheet view we have two options, tap me again, which is completely irrelevant, but the other one is end room. And for end room you have a certain action, which is you are actually toggling the sheet. So when you toggle the sheet, certain things happen, and let me show you what really happened. And here we are back to our audio room options, which is again what I was explaining you before in the terms of UI. So when you click on the headphones button, it just does not open the sheet view, but also make sure that you join the room as well as you listen to the peers who have joined the room. So I'll explain these functions, what we are doing here, but you need to understand that whenever we tap on the headphone button, we are actually at that point of time joining the room and also listening to the peers who will be joining that room. All right, let's see what we are doing in the join room function. So if you go to the join room function, you can see we have a token provider object here, and through which we are actually calling an API using our room ID, which I explained you where it is, and our role. So I also told you what all roles are there. So I have taken speaker role in this case because I want all the functionalities to be working for me. I want to have a conversation, so microphone functionality should be there. I want to show my screen, so all of those things are enabled in this particular role. That's why I have taken this one. And once you call this API, you get a token in return, using which you can connect or join to that certain room that you have created. So all of that is handling by our main class, which is called token provider. So this makes your work really simple because we already have certain APIs written over here, which we are calling to make sure that you are able to join those rooms. And 100ms is beautifully handling those APIs for you. Actually, you can directly use this particular class. I'll also link this particular class in the description box so that you can directly use this and just have to pass on the token endpoint as well as the room ID. If you are really interested, please go look into how these get token API and other requests are working, because that are actually important. So whenever you are using a real database, all of these things really matter. But in this case, we are just going to use the token provider, which makes our life easy. So you need to update the token endpoint from your dashboard of 100ms login, and also the room ID. You need to update these two things here in this class. Let's go back to our Slack chat view. You can see that the token provider that we are using, it's nothing but an object of token provider class. Okay, and we have other things as well, like the local track on which we are actually going to be the HMS SDK object. So for that we have written HMS SDK.build. So it builds an object of HMS SDK, and using that object we can also look into all the peers who have joined the room. So yeah, many things can happen using this object. You also have this particular friend track here, which is not that important because currently I'm just taking one example in which you are talking to one other person. So there would be two person only in this room. So for that I have taken a friend track. Otherwise, ideally you should not be, or you don't need to use the friend track because there could be many users in that room. So yeah, you don't need to create multiple object for each peer. So that is why I'm saying that. But yes, for making this simple, I have created one object. Now you have one view model as well. Let's look into what we have done inside our view model. You can see that we have created an extension of our Slack chat view, and inside that extension we have a model called view model, which confirms to two particular protocols, which is observable object and HMS update listener. So I hope you are already aware about observable object if you are into SwiftUI, but let's talk about what HMS update listener is doing, like this protocol is doing. It is enabling us to use all these functions which are written down here, all these methods basically. And these methods are really important because these methods allow you to check if certain person or a peer has joined the room, when it has joined the room, all those, certain use cases when a user joins, whatever updates are going on when a peer joins, and all the tracks that are going on at that certain moment. You can track all of those things using these methods. In this case, we are going to only use this particular method in which we will be just fetching back the audio track. Okay. But yes, please go into the documentation of HMS SDK, and you will be able to find all the explanation for why these methods are required. All right. So yes, as I said before, we are going to use this particular method, which enables us to take a note on what all tracks are there, like the peer track and our current track. So yes, you are going to use this to make a note of it. Now the other important part is we are going to use these audio tracks somewhere, right? So let's also see that. So if you go back to our join room method, you are able to see that we are going to fetch a token using this API get token, and using that token we are going to join the room. Now that you have joined the room, you also have to listen to the peers who have joined your room. So to do that, we have this listen method here, which gets called right after our join room function. And what this listen method is doing is it is allowing you to listen to the peer tracks. Okay, so you can see that my local track audio track by default set to be unmute, and I can actually grab the track that I have created for me for the local peer. And you can also look at, we have a friend track as well, like whoever joined the room at that point of time, you can track that. You can make a note of that track as well. Same way, like if you try to end the room at that point also, you have to remove all those things. So we have done all the arrangements for that here. Now, as I said, you have to end the room as well when you are done with your conversation. There is one particular method that we have made. It is called end room. And again, using our HMS SDK object, you can call this method end room, in which you will just have to give a reason, which is basically just passing on some payload, and it makes the things work for you. It ends the room for you, and whatever UI action you want to take after that, you can do that. In this case, we are just going back to our previous view. So whenever you end the room, like let me show you. If I click on end the room, it just go back to the previous view. So this is what we are doing here. And when do we call this end room? I just actually showed you here in the simulator, but let me show you here as well. Whenever your bottom sheet gets ended, at that time you are calling this method. Okay, so you are basically dismissing that room once you are done with it. So well, I think we are almost done with all the explanation. We have also additionally written our mute mic function, which we haven't used yet, so I'll not give more description about it, because in the consecutive video you will get to know more things about the same functionality. But let me now show you how it really works. So here you can see in the left we have run the application in our simulator, and in the right you can see that I have opened the link to join from a browser. So you can click on your template, audio room template, and you would be able to access this link. So let me join this particular room. From here you can see that we only have one person in the room, which is I myself. And if I try to start the huddle from the application, suppose from here, you can see that it is asking for the microphone permissions, as well as it shows you two people now. One is this particular person with whom I have joined, and the other one is the one who have joined from this browser link. So that is how you can see that the whole app is working, and now you can talk to each other by unmuting yourself. So this is how it is working. And yeah, we are done with the very first part of this video. In the consecutive parts, you will be seeing how we can do the screen sharing, how we can show the active speaker, and all of those good things. So for that, please stay tuned with the channel. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and also comment down below what you think about this video. If you think something can be improved, if you have any doubt, please comment that down below. I'll be Looking forward to it, and I will definitely reply to it. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.